Hello and welcome to a casted game with deck reviews played as part of the SDL Warno Monthly Tournament for the month of March between myself, FRA Hippie playing as 5E Division Blindée against tmanplays playing as 5th Panzerdivision, and it's on Loop 2v2, which is a 1v1 map depending on how you're feeling. So first, a word from our sponsor. I'll ban 3rd Armoured. tmanplays. Game 1 of 2. Right, so with that out of the way, we'll go to the deck reviews and then to Game 1 and then to Game 2. So here we are for the deck review for tmanplays. He was playing as 5th Panzer. And I said 4 2 times there, but we're not going back. And we'll go through this tab by tab. Logistics tab, Unimog Munition, really good. Small truck, 20 points, bad armor, 500 supply. This is very standard. It's off-road speed, so it's absolutely terrible. Iltis Führerjungs, this is your standard car CV. Really good off-road speed, 99 kilometers an hour. Good road speed, and yeah, 4 damage, so the howitzer shell will kill it in 1 hit, less than 1 armor. I actually prefer this one because even though it costs 10 points more and you get 1 less, it has 1 armor and 8 damage. It's a bit slower, but it'll survive the howitzer rounds, and it's amphibious, and it gets smoke. The thing is, how many other CVs does he have? So he gets 3 from there, and he's got 2 here. Yeah, I would rather bring the Fuchs Führer, and indeed I do that. And you can do some funny things where you just drive in and smoke, and then you're in the zone, right? They can't shoot you. Infantry tab, so Panzer Grenadier Marder in the Marder 1A3 Milan is an extremely potent combo right now, and he brings 27 of them at 1 vet, and then another 9 regular Marder 1A3s. So what's going on here? What makes it so good? The autocannons right now have an aim time of 1 second. I am hoping this changes. And so that means that this fires before tank guns fire. It fires before infantry AT fires, because that's 2 seconds. And so it's all about the IFVs. And the thing that gives the Marder the advantage is the 5 front armor. So the enemy has to wait 2 seconds to shoot you, and then he doesn't kill you. And all the while you're pouring rounds into him, you'll probably stun him, you'll probably suppress him. So what you do is you just get loads of Marders and you just drive them into the forest. And the fact that the Panzer Grenadier Marder is such a cheap squad, 25 points for all this, I think is too cheap, if I'm being entirely honest. I believe Terrier's AT, which is 2 men and a Carl Gustav, also costs 25 points. I might be wrong, it might be 20, I can't remember. So yeah, 27 of those because of how strong they are. Sometimes you might have to ask, well, what? Because if you're driving it into a forest, right, you probably don't need the Milan one because it's in a forest. So it's an interesting trade-off. I would have personally brought more regular ones, but he knew he was playing on Loop. Loop's quite an open map, so great. Loads of Marder 1A3 Milans. Iltis Milan 2 at 1 vet, so this has to be used defensively, really, because as soon as it takes a round, it'll be really suppressed and it'll miss. And he brings it in the car. There's an argument to be made of bringing it in the Fuchs Milan, but you see that this has bad optics and bad stealth, so you get this Milan 1, but it's got bad stealth, so it just dies. Pioneers, regular Pioneers with the satchel charges. So with the changes to infantry time to kill, satchel charges weren't changed, and so they're pretty good now. Pioneer Flam, however, so the hand flam patron is actually a napalm launcher, not a flamethrower, interestingly enough. Don't actually think we see it on the model. I don't see any of these guys holding it. But you only get 6 of these in a card, and this only has 4 rounds. It fires a lot faster. I still prefer it, if I'm being honest. But T-Man's gone for regular Pioneers. 1 card of Jaeger Führer, so 4 strength, Carl Gustav, 1, 2, 5 points. Your other options are 5 strength, 2 availability, Carl Gustav, 1, 2, 5 points. So obviously the Jaeger's better. Panzer Grenadier Führer gets 6 strength and a red eye, so you can get yourself spotted and killed when you miss the plane. but once again, only 2 availability, so that's a real pain in the neck. Panzergrenadier Carl Gustav, so 5th doesn't really get good infantry AT. This is the best it gets. Carl Gustav, 16 pen, 850 meter range, 50% accuracy. So it's not shabby at all. It's a lot better than the Panzerfaust 44 these guys are bringing around. And I don't believe there's any unit in 5th. Yep, there isn't. There's not a single unit in 5th with the Panzerfaust 3. So the best infantry AT you have is the Carl Gustav, and it's not very good. And he brings these in the regular Marder 1A3s, possibly because there is no Milan variant. And then one group of Panzergrenadier Marder in the truck. So I wasn't really sold on this, but it's a good idea, right? So these guys are really good, price to performance ratio wise. Oh no, I'm receiving Steam messages. I will finish this deck review. And yeah, you can sell the truck. So this is good for like aggressive plays, forward deployment, just getting some sponge. Lots of people would rather get the Zikrugs, which also cost 25 points, have 11 strength, 12 availability, which is important. So they last a lot longer, and they get this security tag, which means that they can see further when they're stood still, so they get good optics. And they take a lot longer to kill, so most people go for the Zikrugs. But you see T-Man's gone for the Panzergrenadier Marder, probably, potentially for the Panzerfaust 44, because the battle rifle can still engage at the same range as the MG. But the Panzerfaust 44 is crap, so I don't see the point. I'd get the Zikrugs personally. If you want to spam Marders, you could always spam the MG3 and get loads of Marder 1A3 Milans with this 25 point MG3. But what's the point when Panzergrenadier Marder costs 25 points anyway and have more strength and an AT option? Artillery, he brings 1 card of the heavy howitzers. Typically you need 2 of these to kill anything, so 1 is odd, but I guess it's something to do with the points. And 1 card of the mortars. Seen some people play around with these as a smoking device as opposed to an artillery device. Just because of how cheap it is and the range on it, you can basically leave it at the back of the map and get smoke out. Personal preference, Panzer Mortars also very good, because you got to think this costs 65 points, this costs 90, because you need the transport, you need to keep the transport with it. This is a bit easier to micro, but yeah. The Mars is really, really good. Don't sleep on the Mars. People see 400 points and they get put off, whereas the supply cost is 480, which means you could keep this firing all game, which is really good. Get 2 in a card. Tank tab, so 12 Leopard 2A3s at 2 vet and 2 Leopard 2A4s at 2 vet. So that's a lot of heavy tanks for a 1v1 deck, but personal preference, I suppose. I really like the Leopard 1A5s, but you only get 1 card of those, and he brings it at lowest vet. The argument for lowest vet is, well, after this takes a hit, you want to get it out of there anyway. The argument against lowest vet is that my guys just seem to do so much better when they're on 2 vet. But you only get 6 of them. And this Jaguar 2 thing, it's basically a TOW 2 for 105 points. It is really good. Particularly because of the 25 pen, 65 accuracy. The price isn't great, but 3 front armor means it can survive a max range shot from most things, and then it's got smoke on it, so it can smoke. Leopard 2A4 is better than a Leopard 2A3. Obviously. I guess the gun is just better, even though it's the same. I guess the ammunition's different, 1 more pen. But you get less in a card. And then 1 card of the Leopard 1A5 Führer. Recon tab. I really like the Jaeger Aufklärer because they're an 11-man squad, and so they can survive a long time and provide good optics before they die. However, T-Man goes for the Fernspeyer, so this is the OP sniper unit, which you definitely need to be bringing right now. 6 availability at max vet is the main reason that these guys are so stupid. Special Forces for 70 points, and Sniper, which is OP, and GSR, and Airborne, and Shock. Obviously it's a recon unit. The looks, you get 4 of these in a card, really good unit. You only get 3 Foxes in a card right now, and the Fox costs more, and the looks has more armor. And the looks has better optics. But, you know, that's life, that's life. Bring the looks, it's really good. Always bring a recon helicopter, and then he brings regular Aufklärer, so 4-man team, 50 points. 9 availability, I'd rather spend the extra 20 and get the Jaeger clearer because they've got more than twice the strength. But if you don't expect to be attacked, then 4 strength is all you need. And they bring their own AT as well. AA tab, so 5th has really bad air and it has really bad anti-air, so air superiority fighters, and it has quite bad anti-air. The Roland 3s, well, let's go through it one at a time. Gepard is actually really good. So not a great start. So really good range against helicopters and aircraft. You can basically outrange any helicopter, stun them straight away, 3 front armor, so you'll survive a hit, and you've got smoke. Roland 2 also gets smoke, I think. So Roland 2 and Roland 3. Roland 3 has radar and it's better, but it can get hit by Seed, but Seed's a bit useless right now. Roland 2 doesn't have radar and is a bit worse. He brings both. No point in upvetting your AA because it's either dead or it's not. Fliegerfaust, he brings 16 Fliegerfausts. I'd actually be tempted to upvet these, even though there's very limited utility in doing so, just because I'm never going to bring 11. Helicopter tab, so he brings 3 Apache rockets. These slots are really expensive. But he brings 3. Most people bring 2, because, you know, 3 point slot. He brings 3. Air tab, he brings the ASF, F4 Phantom. It's slow, it doesn't have long-range missiles, it's slow, and so your anti-air is bad. And then he brings 8 F4 FATs. So that's interesting. He knew he'd be against 5dB on loop, so I guess this was in some attempt to like kill all AMXs, but I don't see why you'd need more than 4 of these. Like, this thing's really good with the bombs. This thing's actually not bad. The waffle's actually really quite good now that bombers are a bit weird. Some people bring the F104G, the dart. I believe some people call it the lawnmower. The F16 Seed's obviously good, but Seed right now not amazing. And yeah, that about does it for tmanplays' deck. This is the deck review for Hippie's deck played in this game. You may notice some differences between this deck and the decks I've played previously. The 5e decks which I've played previously, that's because this was played as part of a tournament, so we knew what the map was and the matchup was going in, and that allows us to adapt our decks to better suit what we aim to do in the game. So let's go through this tab by tab. 2 cards of supplies, fairly straightforward. There's an argument to be made that you should bring the Puma Kangaroo because this is 6,000 supply total. However, the truck one can be great too because you can put it everywhere, and for the sake of 1,000 extra supply in a card, there's not too much difference. Usually I run 3 cards of supply, I think. Depends. 2 cards of VAB PC. So what are your choices here? For 110 points you can get the VAB PC at 2 availability with armor, 1 armor, good speed, good road speed, and 8 HP. The 50 cal can be useful, but if it's shooting then usually it's already too late. The one most people go for is the P4 PC with 4 HP, less than 1 armor, slightly faster actually. 3 availability is generally why people get it, but this can die to 1 howitzer round, so it's up to you whether or not you want 1 more or 1 less. There's also this, the AMX-10 PC, which I rarely see brought because, yeah, sure, it's got an autocannon and 3 front armor and 10 HP, but it's slow. It's because it's tracked, so it's slow at capping zones, and you don't really want this to be shooting. There are cases where it could be useful. I mean, I think it would survive more howitzer hits because the near misses would hit the front and side armor, unless obviously it landed behind. Obviously if it lands straight on top, yeah, not so good, but it's got 10 HP and it comes with smoke, which actually can be really useful, and it's amphibious, which this is as well, and this isn't. So 3 choices. I like this one. infantry, Super Puma, commandos in the Super Puma. So the Super Puma is just a really good transport helicopter because it's fast and it's got 8 HP. So can't die to one man-pad hit. And a lot of these transport helicopters like the Lynx have 6 HP, so they'll die to an Osa or a Rapier, and this won't die to one hit of those, so that can be really useful. There also seems to be this thing with overkill. I'm not quite sure how it works these days, but the way it used to work was that because this thing has 8 HP, less damage is passed on to the crew inside when it crashes. Speaking of the crew inside, the commandos are really, really, really strong, because Special Forces right now are just very strong because of the Special Forces buff. They get an 850 meter range rocket launcher. Some people like to bring them on Elite. I believe I usually bring them on Elite, but here I brought them at 2 vet because I knew I was playing on Loop. Nice big map, lots of opportunities for heli inserts, and I assumed that the game was going to go late. Group anti-char, so these are guys with 2 Appalachian and no MG, 7 strength. Bring them in the VAB T20 autocannon. Very strong autocannon vehicle because of its speed. 1 front armor isn't great, but it's very, very fast. And it's amphib, and it's only 30 points, whereas something like a warrior's 35. I bring them at 1 vet because my idea is that if somebody's shooting at them, then they've had it anyway. There's a case to be made for bringing them on 2 vet, because I have noticed that these guys seem to miss a lot, so maybe I should bring them on 2 vet. It's really up to you. How many do you think you'll need? I generally never buy 6, so I will now try vetting it. Sapper's Flam, so flamethrower is good if you can stay still to use it. So against things like the RPO and the flash you have a problem, because they are going to make you move and then you can't stay still for 4 seconds to shoot your flamethrower. But if you do get it off, it's extremely effective, particularly because it's got so much ammo. A lot more ammo than an RPO. In terms of transport, so truck's good, you can sell it. Then you've got this shit box for 20 points. Sure, it's got a 50 cal on it, but it's slow, it's tracked, and it's only got 1 front armor anyway, which is weird. For 10 points more, you could get this. But this is just like a really bad VAB T20/13. I mean, look, the autocannon's the same, but it's got 1 front armor, but it's really slow. Whereas this is really fast, and it's got smoke. Still got 1 armor, same price. So I bring it in the truck. I don't think these two are very good. Milan 2 team, so I bring this in the car, and I bring it at 2 vet, because as soon as these... If it's on 1 vet and it gets hit by a tank, it usually misses. It's really frustrating, so I bring it on 2 vet, even though I lose 2 of them. Transport options, I bring it in the car. You can bring it in the VAB Milan, but with bad stealth and bad optics, it's not so fantastic. No smoke either. 25 points for what? It's probably going to die. Or you could spend 40 points and get the AMX 10P Milan. So this is actually the not warrior. So this is the warrior equivalent for France. It's pretty good actually. It's a pretty good vehicle, but I don't really need one of these near where I'm bringing my Milan 2s, and I appreciate the speed of the car for the Milan 2s, particularly in the opener. You want to get them to some forward buildings as soon as possible. Grenadier Voltigeurs in the VAB T20/13, so you only get 1 card of the Grenadier Voltigeurs Appalachian. We've already spoken about this. Grenadier Voltigeurs are just your standard French OP squad. 50 points now, so maybe not so OP, but the LRAC F1's great because the 850 meter range. Great for the price. I mean, it's no Appalachian, the penetration's not fantastic. So yeah, the VAB T20/13 really fast, and then outjump these guys with 10 strength and do a lot of damage. The Appalachian guys are exactly the same, but for 5 points more, they get a much better rocket launcher. But they lose 3 availability, which is important, particularly if you want to up vet. So if I up vet these, I'd only have 4. So last one, Escorte PC with the AMX 10P. This is the French not warrior. In some ways it's better than the warrior, in other ways it's not, because it's like amphibious. I don't know if the warrior is. Yeah, mediocre optics, can't remember what the Warrior one is, but basically it's just a standard IFV, and the Escarte PC, this really cheap 8-man squad for 25 points. No MG or AT though, unlike the, say, Panzergrenadier Marder. But you get them so you could get the IFV basically, and they come with the IFV, you put them in front. Why are they 1 vet? Because my damage dealers are my tanks. The way the meta works right now is that the autocannon, French autocannon tanks are broken, and you just need infantry in front of them to screen while the tanks kill everybody. So more the merrier. Artillery, what are your choices? You can get a 120mm mortar, which is good. You can get an 82mm mortar, which is less good, but it's mobile, and it's very hard to counter battery because of how mobile it is. To be honest, I'm now going to try using the MO 120, see how I get on with that, because the 120mm is better. The aim time is the same for an 82mm and a 120, which I don't think is fair. Rate of fire is allegedly the same as well. So I think the 120 might just be better. More range as well, more damage. It's weird on the rate of fire, I wonder what's going on there. Salvo length 5, reload time 6. Salvo length 4, reload time 10. So that would make you think 40 rounds a minute. No, hang on, 24 rounds a minute. 5, reload time 6. Maths moments, so that's 10 times 5, that's 50. So maybe this ROF is just wrong. I'd have to do some testing. AMX Alpha 1, that's Paladin, right? It's basically a Paladin ripoff. It's got 9 pen because it's also got direct fire capability. And it's got 3 front armor. Don't know if it packs its own smoke. I mean, it'll fire smoke shells, but whether or not it's got smoke canisters, I see something here. Maybe it does. And it's got 50 cal, so it's a really decent howitzer. But yeah, it's just the same in line with all the other 155mm ones for NATO. Tank tab. So the AMX-30B2 I usually bring at max veterancy. For this tournament game I down vetted it by 1 because loop's so big I assumed the match would go on for like 40 minutes. And so I wanted more than 12 of them. I think what I actually did was delete 1 card of them so I could bring something, so I could bring the P4 Milan, because I knew that this would be lots of long-range engagement, so I'd need lots of ATGMs. Or maybe it was so I could bring the AMX-10 hot, so I deleted 1 card and then down-vetted them. P4 Milan, great for being a 40-point Milan, whereas the infantry ones are obviously way more, right? Difference is the infantry ones, are, if you put them in a building, are actually a lot harder to kill than these, which will die in 1 hit. You bring it at the lowest veterancy, because if somebody's shooting at it, it's not long for this world anyway. And it's got good stealth, which is good news. CV tank, so this is an AMX-30 CV tank, fairly self-explanatory. And the AMX-30B has a worse gun than the B2 and worse armor, but the price is just so low, and worse speed. So the B is generally the one that you want to spam a bit more in forests. Because it's cheaper for the same effect, basically, and the 1 extra front armor on the B2 isn't going to make a huge amount of difference. Although I might be wrong, but I think the B2 can survive 3, it takes 3 AT4 shots to kill this, and only 2 to kill the other one. Might be wrong. The AMX-10 hot's great, because it's got a hot 2, which is a good ATGM, and it's got 3 front armor, and it's got smoke. So, it's really quite survivable at the maximum range, because the tanks shooting at it, most of them won't be able to kill it in 1 hit. And then you smoke. Recon helicopter, always bring a recon helicopter. AMX-10 Sir Blindée, most annoying unit in the game to face because of how rapid it is. Even off-road it's rapid despite being a wheeled vehicle. Yeah, really strong, really strong. Very good optics, mediocre stealth, advanced deployment, recon, great gun, 4 front armor. Really good vehicle, and once you run out of those, because you only get 3, you bring the regular AMX-10 RC, which is slightly worse. 2 less pen on the gun, 1 less front armor. It's not as good, but it is a little bit cheaper. Chocolate Eclairs, these guys are great little 4-man squad with an 850 meter range rocket launcher, and they come in this cool Jeep, truck, whatever, with a 50 cal on it, which is really fast for a truck, and it's got its own optics on it, good optics, good stealth, really powerful combo. Dragon Power is absolutely broken unit. These new 6-7 man teams with the snipers, they're just so stupid. Special Forces, Shock, Airborne Forward Deployment, GSR, so they get exceptional optics when stood still, and this thing will kill units extremely fast. This is an extremely potent anti-infantry thing, and they come at max vet, and you get 6 of them, and they're only 65 points. It is an absurdity. Thankfully, other nations also get similar things, so SAS Patrol, Third Speyer, that T-Man's playing on 5 Panzer, Spetsnaz GRU, these things all share that, but this field, one of the few things that France didn't have going for it, so it didn't have any airborne forward deployment, but now it does, and these guys are just ridiculous. So that just makes 5e even stronger. Air tab, I'm a bit light on my air. I bring the Minstrels, so this is the best man pad in the game because of the range, the accuracy, the HE. It's just the best one in the game. It's a bit cheap, more expensive than the other ones though. Roland 3, so between the Roland 2 and the Roland 3, the Roland 3 is better in every way. The only problem is that its Seed will hit it and kill it. But Seed right now is a bit garbage, and I know that I'm against 5th Panzer, which I believe doesn't get Seed. Actually, maybe it does. Maybe it gets the F-16 Seed. But regardless, Seed right now is just terrible, so most people don't bother to bring it, so I take a chance on the Roland 3s. Helicopter tab, I brought 2 cards of Gazelle Hot 2s because I knew this was going to be I'm up against 5th Panzer on quite an open map. So lots of tanks everywhere, and it's great to bring as many of these as possible so you can spam Hot 2s. And air. So the Mirage FIC 200, bonkers, absolutely broken for its price. Really, this is just so fast. DCM's so good, missiles are great. The guns are absolutely amazing, agility's good, everything's good, 185 points. 3 availability, wow. Mirage 3E, this one, for its price, is better. Obviously, in actuality, that the FIC 200 is better because it gets 1 more of a slightly better long-range missile and 1 more of a slightly better short-range missile and 10% more ACM. But for 145 points, 3 availability, this thing is amazing. And what the unit card doesn't tell you is that this has got one of the best turning circles in the game. Because of Delta Wing, this is just really broken. Use this to snipe helicopters. It'll kill any helicopter in 1 pass, except armoured helos, which will only kill in 1 pass 40% of the time, because this missile has to hit for that to kill the armoured helo. But you're still gonna, Apaches cost more than this. You could just chuck it at it. It's really fast, and there's a pretty good chance you're going to get out of there alive. Jaguar ATGM also quite fast. This missile is amazing. I mean, look at that. Look at that penetration. Look at that accuracy. Look at that range. So this is really good, and it's really agile, and it's got the guns as well. So this is a great plane, great for killing tanks, and it's quite cheap. Jaguar HE, also really good. Everything's just really good. It's just bonkers division. The bombs are good. High ECM, high speed. It can also be used to shoot down helicopters because it's got the magic missiles and the Defers. This one's got the Defers as well. Other notable ones, some people buy the Seed because of the 50% ECM, which will bonkers once again. You don't buy it for the Seed missile, that's a bit pants. You buy it for the guns, and it will just survive everything, so 50% ECM half the time. The cluster's a bit sporadic, it's a bit unreliable. It's better to use the ATGMs really, and the agility's normal. And yeah, the napalm. So this is a bit weird, right, because the cluster's got mediocre agility. Is it because of its payload or something? I don't know. But yeah, that about does it for this deck review. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the map. Loop 2v2 is one of the new ones, in that Loop's been around for a while, but this cut of it is relatively new, and relatively new to the ranked pool. So what's going on here? Essentially, you've got 3 lines of combat divided by these two rivers. It's a very cool map, actually. It's one of my favorites. Now, on the far left, for Echo, you see that red has an advantage here because the town starts on red's side. And red will get to the town as blue gets to the not town. So blue does have some trees here, but generally if blue is to attack this area, they need to go hard and fast into the town and get into the town so that they can continue to resupply their units. In the middle, it's hard to say who has the advantage. Once again, red gets the town, but blue gets this really good forest here. But I do think that red does have a small advantage here because at least on this side you can get here, and that helps you a bit with Foxtrot. But it really does depend. It's a bit more ambiguous here on Delta. Now on Foxtrot, both sides are even because of this road. They will get here at the same time, and so both teams are trying to secure this bit of ground here. Blue gets a bit more tree on this side, so you could say it's better for blue. Red gets a couple buildings here, so you could say it's better for red. Really, this one is even Stevens. So zooming out, you see a zone that favors red, a zone that may favor red, and a zone that may favor blue. So red does have the advantage on this map, in my opinion. I'd love to see some win statistics from Eugen for ranked 1v1 games on various maps. Side A, side B, who's winning more. That'd be really interesting to see. But they have a lot of other things to be working on. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the deployment. And we're going to be starting with my deployment because I'm me. The general strategy here for me was to make sure that I press my advantage to fully secure Echo and not fumble the ball on this. Use the mobility of my AMX-10s to just sort of be all over the place, which is great on a map like this. In the middle, I think that the French infantry backed by the infamous AMX-30 autocannon tank would see me through, although Marders are really good. Marders with Panzergrenadier Marder are really good this patch. So I was less inclined here. And Foxtrot, I was going to take it easy and just have a couple guys here. Bit more of an infantry push here, so some recon here in defensive formation, and Milan 2 defensively. Commandos just to quickly secure this ground here, because heli-borne infantry will get here faster than car-borne infantry just because of the road layout and the size of the map. The map is very big, which gives heli-borne infantry an advantage. And as this was played as part of a tournament, we knew what the map was and could adapt our decks to that. Having said that, I've seen some people accuse me of playing with strange rule sets. There were no rules for this tournament except you can't be racist and stuff like that, which was all geared against one player in particular. So that covers the general strategy. Now talking about the deployment itself, on the far left I had an AMX-10RC regular, wheeled bonkers tank, really good tank, if you could call it a tank. Some purists would disagree. It's very fast on-road, very fast off-road, lightly armoured, but it can still survive a shot and then smoke and then get away. And it benefits from what I like to call battlecruiser doctrines. So it's strong enough to kill anything faster than it, and it's fast enough to get away from anything stronger than it. But you do have to micro them. As such, I was going to send it round here, round the side, and round here to snipe people coming down this road. You always want to try and shoot people in the back so as to not give them time to react. So you can use the LOS tool to identify lines where if he's here, then I'm going to be shooting him in the side or in the back. Always shoot your enemies in the back. That's a hippie top tip. Next up, I've got two Dragon Paras, these OP bonkers units. 5th does get their own version of this. They're called Fern Spear, and they're actually a little bit better, to my knowledge. Yeah, because they get satchels as well. So Fernspeyer, really OP fifth thing. Here it is. So for 5 points more, you don't get Satchel, you get an MG. But you get all the same tags for 5 points more. And the MG is really helpful. So I think the Fernspeyer are better. Or at least very, very similar. And you see that these sniper rifles, I believe this is in fact a DMR, they're standardized, so they're just exactly the same. Even though they're different, they're just the same. And they even both have MP5 SDs. So Dragon Paras, one going to here, one going to here. Snipers are just so obnoxious right now. They kill one guy a shot, they're insane. They're better than the medium machine guns and the heavy machine gun teams, and that's why you don't see so many of those anymore. Why do that when you can get a sniper? Behind them, an AMX-10 RC Sir Blindée, which is like the regular AMX-10 but better. 2 more pen on the gun because they use, I believe it's like depleted uranium shells or something. Not amphibious anymore, and 1 more armor is a real lifesaver, but you are paying for it. So that's going around to the other side, and my plan was to get around here and then start shooting people in the back and use the mobility there. A CV to take Alpha and then Echo. A logistics to supply my snipers and my tanks, because the sniper you only get 20 rounds, so that's less than 2 minutes of shooting. And then 1 commandos, which in hindsight wasn't a very good idea, and this was just to add some infantry weight to Echo. But 60 for the commandos, really good unit because the special forces, 10 strength, 2 MGs, you know, assault rifle, good rocket launcher because of the range, not the pen, the range. But this is 110, and you could get, well, what else could you get for that? You could get 2 Escort APCs in IFVs for that, but I really wanted to hold Echo really fast, and these guys are fast. This is all very fast, and that was the plan there. But Charlie, a bit more conservative, so another Dragon Paris team here, just to sniper infantry. And then 2 or 3 Grenadier Voltigeurs Appalache. So the difference between the Appalache one and the non-Appalache one, that the Appalache one has an Appalache. I know that might seem like a strange concept, but the Appalache is amazing. 20 rate of fire, 850 meter range, 21 penetration. It's really, really good. Compare it to the LRAC. So the LRAC, 10 rate of fire, 2 more rounds, but the penetration's not very good. Still the same range. Every man, woman and child in France has access to 850 meter range rocket launchers. To my knowledge, they don't actually have a rocket launcher that shoots less than 850 meters. And with the infantry, one's going here, one's going here, and one's actually going to Foxtrot. Dragon Paras deploying conservatively here to give vision down that road, so that's the recon and the anti-infantry, and then for the anti-tank, the Milan 2 team. VAB PC going for Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Foxtrot. And commandos, yeah, we already spoke about these, trying to get over here. So that covers it for my deployment. Switching to that of my adversary. So we see a unit of Fernspeyer, and yeah, once again, these guys are just like the Dragon Paras, but slightly better because of the MG. It's not a huge difference though. They get the ground surveillance radar, special forces, shock, airborne, forward deployment. He's putting them here, and as soon as he puts them down and they get in the trees, I can't see them anymore because of the exceptional stealth. It'll be the same for my guys as well. So yeah, really obnoxious unit, these sniper teams. Hopefully something will be done. Then what do we have here? Mixed bag of deployment. Let's just go through them one at a time. So CV going for India Golf Delta. Behind that, Milan 2 team. Deploying quite conservatively actually. 450 meters means that he wouldn't be able to shoot anybody coming down this road. So that's that's a defensive deployment, whereas mine, because I was deploying it further up, I would be able to shoot anybody who's trying to attack this point, whereas this is actually too far back to be useful in my opinion. He may have got it expecting me to rush an AMX-10 down here, in which case the Milan would pop it. Behind that, we have Fliegerfaust, interestingly enough. Believe that's going to here. So just some flank protection to stop, or at least spot, any helicopter flying over it, and potentially kill a recon helicopter. Fliegerfaust not... Well, Fliegerfaust has been buffed quite a bit, actually. It used to be a lot worse. It's got really good anti-helicopter range now. Behind that, Panzergrenadier Marders in cars. So the Panzergrenadier Marder unit... Well, first let's talk about where they're going. So he's deploying here and here. Panzergrenadier Marder unit is 5 strength, 25 points, and it's got everything you need. So battle rifle, medium machine gun, and a not amazing AT, but it's better than nothing. It's better than the law, I think. Don't actually know. I might have to check that. Interesting decision to bring them in the cars. So this is just his wheeled attack stuff, I guess. Really cheap unit, so you can use them quite aggressively in your deployment. You don't have to worry about it. This entire thing costs 45 points. You get to sell the car. So I can understand that. Not much staying power though. Behind that, 3 Marder 1A3 Milans also going to the middle. So Marder 1A3 Milan is a really strong IFV. And you get it for quite cheaply because the infantry squad it comes with only costs 25 points, and that's its advantage. So 5 front armor, Milan, autocannons obviously really strong right now. And that's why I think 2nd Panzer is a really strong division right now, because you just chuck these Marder 1A3 Milans into the forest, or at least the non-Milan version, into a forest, and they'll survive front shots from AT4s and things like that. And then 1 Roland 3 going to here. Roland 3 very strong, much better than the British Rapier, but a salvo length of only 2. So if you get unlucky, you won't actually be able to get any more shots off. So typically you want these in 2s, which is interesting, isn't it? Because over here, oh, I assume there would be another one, but there wasn't. So recon helicopter going straight forwards to scout for echo. Presumably he would change the micro on this once it gets over there. Looks A1 going all the way around the side to try and snipe people in the back. This is really negative behavior from my opponent. It's very cheesy. I don't understand why anybody would do anything of the sort. Really puts a bitter taste in my mouth. Behind that, we got a CV doing the same thing I'm doing, Hotel Echo. So yeah, these trees here can shield it. Behind that, we've got, I'm getting a bit bored now, the rest of the attack. So 1 Fliegerfaust is the... So what is there to say here, right? This is an aggressive attack to try and take Echo, which I get to the town side first. And the Roland 3 is on the wrong side of the map. Because surely you'd want that defending your attack. But instead it's over here, where the deployment is really quite conservative. So I don't agree with that. Let's talk, where's the Fliegerfaust going? We'll just see what disappears. So the Fliegerfaust is going to here. 1 Panzergrenadier Marder in the Unimog going to here. And then 2 Panzergrenadier Marders in the Marder 1A3 Milan. Dropping off the units here. This is too close, really. If there's a guy here, he'd kill you. You wanna drop that off here, really. But you know, semantics. And then 1 Leopard 2A3 going round with the aim, the clear aim here to cut the resupply road here. That's what that Lux was for as well, to give recon for the Leopard, to cut the resupply road, stop me getting in. Because this is the land bridge. This is the land income route, right? So he's clearly trying to stop me reinforcing here. You can still do it, you just have to deploy the units here and then tell them to go here, but it's more micro. It's difficult to do. in the heat of the moment, you will make mistakes and you will lose units. So that about covers it for the deployment in Game 1, and we will now jump into Game 1. Right, so they're off, and I will be casting it from the completely impartial perspective of my perspective. And yeah, just a heads up, this is going to be a really long series. So because I'm French now, the first thing I did was listen to the ears on the ground and just kill this recon helicopter with my OP jet, which he can't really catch. 5th Panzer has this problem with kind of weak AA for a tank division. I really don't rate it, but 3rd and 79th and 39th were banned, I believe. I can't remember. I can look it up if it's necessary. But over here, this conservative deployment, which gives me this zone, which is the one that blue has a really good chance of getting. And over here, aggressive deployment into the zone where I have a huge advantage. For some reason, the CV's out in front. Typically, you'd want that behind something like this. And that gets sniped by the AMX-10s. And I believe that Lux is next on the agenda. Autocannon, of course, shoots first. Because autocannons have a 1-second aim time. Over here, the Fern Spay is here, but yeah, really defensive deployment here. Obviously, it's impossible to know what your enemy's doing. And over here, this guy, his transport gets popped. Smoke the Blindée, and then shoot. And you've got the smokes. Use the Super Puma to scout. So the Milans here are useless as long as I'm microing, right? Because I can just smoke, drive forwards, and as soon as he shoots, I drive back. Fliegerfaust hits something, which is just a bizarre turn of events. I've already used my smoke, and the Leopard 2 pops me in one shot. I strayed too far from my smoke. I use the Mirage, which is already back up, and just kill that Fliegerfaust there. No problem. Over here, I'm here on this side before him, and we're killing stuff over here. So I've now got this zone. I'm doing very well on this zone, and over here is the combat. I survived one max range shot with the Surblind with the 4 front armor, but I'm on 1 HP. My Logi truck was here and got shot by the Leopard, so I now don't have that. Over here it's starting to look a bit worse for me now that the Milans have... sorry, I'm going to have to zoom out here so you can pay attention to this. The Surblind is still popping out and going back in and trying to shoot these guys. Sorry about that R sound, it's just a bug with this version of the game. You're just going to have to get used to that. I'm trying to use the Jaguar ATGM to kill the Leopard, but he smokes it off. I evac, which is a mistake, because that Roland had just fired both his shots, and this guy's now outside of his his smoke. So that Roland has to reload for the next 20 seconds. So I should have circled back around, which was a mistake. However, no supply here for T-Man. There's one coming up, so no smoke now for the Leopard. Over here, he's not pressed his advantage here, probably because he doesn't know it exists. Remember, his recon helicopter was killed at the start of the game and he hasn't bought another one. And over here, he's stuck in the open, getting messed up. These men are trying to move forwards, and the Dragon Paras are just eating them for breakfast. That Milan is trying to do its best, but as long as I'm paying attention, ATGM shouldn't hurt me. I'm in the forest over here. I almost get the CV, but I was, I don't know where it is, right? So I was a bit lackadaisical here. T-Man sees me, drives this in, and this will kill me. Just get the Escorte PC there, tag some auto cannon shots, nothing too serious. Lose the VAB over here. Apache now deployed for T-Man on this flank. I now use the Jaguar ATGM to just kill that Roland, and I'm not getting shot by anything else, so I now know that there's no AA here in his entire big push, his aggressive push. This Apache's about to catch a Mirage, because that's how France is played. You just chuck a Mirage at an Apache. And T-Man's moved his CV here, so now I won't catch it, which is a shame. Might get that Roland, though, I don't remember. The attack still continues over here. See, Mirage 3E, 145 points. Almost kills the Apache, but not fully, but now he's got to get it back. I evac, which was a mistake, should have circled back around. I get that Marder 1A3 there, and I'm probably going to get this Roland. On this side, T-Man's trying to cross this open field without smoke, without recon. There's no recon here. There's a Lux, but it's too far away. And so I'm just chewing him up. My AMX-10 here survived, finally got supply for that. And this Leopard's now advancing without its smoke cover. AMX-10 hot, AMX-30 B2, Gazelle hot, recon helicopter, so I'm going to see this. And this guy's now tanking hits, but he will take a lot of killing. This is now in low cohesion, so you can't expect a hit, but the hot 2 is also coming from the air. So the air one hits, the ground one misses. B4 Milan shooting. Doesn't react in time and the Jaguar ATGM finishes him off. He's got to back off now because I have a tank here and he doesn't. And I've got these and there's no AA. The AA is coming, but that's a 300-point investment. It's not going to get there fast enough. Pretty sure I see this. Well, I do now. Over here, I'm winning this fight over here. AMX-30B2 just killing Rover Milan, Marder Milans one at a time. That Apache's going to be a problem. I send this out to kill it, but then I just sort of lose the plot a bit. But this one's behind it, and that will actually kill it in one pass. 145-point plane, by the way. And over here, this push is dead. The middle was dead. I'd got the right for free, and that's the end of game 1. So this is my first ever win against tmanplays in any format, and it just goes to show you how broken 5E is. T-Man does have his own YouTube channel, and as soon as this game finished, he started uploading loads of games of him spamming 5E on the ladder. So this is now a T-Man Plays approved division as well. And at this point, there's very few people left who would put an argument against this division being overpowered. Right, so now let's go on to game 2. I'll ban 5E. T-Man Plays, game 2 of 2.